Hello everyone, this is Chris from the Boneyard. A lot of you has expressed interest on how I do my headers. So I'm going to do this, but it's not going to be one of those. I'll just have to take and tape as I go along and then merge them together with my FreeMaker thing. But I'm going with the Hemi on this because I like it. And first thing I do is I get the engine block ready. And one thing is I drilled out the freeze plugs. So what I'm going to do is when I get it painted, I'm going to put pins in there. Of course, cut them off, shorten them up, but put them in there as a representation of like a chrome looking freeze plug. But that's not what you're really see. So what I do, every block is different right off the bat. That's why each one of my headers, my header system is custom made to the car itself. But you'll see a little divot right here. That's where the head goes. I cut that out because I need a little, for lack of a better word, space, playroom, because the way the tubes go that I put in will fit down in here, so I don't have to flatten them or anything. But that's where I start. I get this all ready. Once I get it cut out, and yes, I've sliced my finger a couple times, but I only seem to do it when I turn the blade around like that, then it'll slip. So I don't know. Maybe it's bad luck, or maybe I'm just not holding my mouth right. Get this cut out. It's about ready to come out now. This was the easy part. Now I will tell you that there is a mistake on the instructions on this. Maybe it's the way I'm reading them or whatever. Could be on me. My luck, that's about how it runs. Okay. Now the difference between this and a regular one is on this one, since it's a Hemi, the spark plugs are in the heads, so I don't have to, basically I don't have to do spark plug wire too, because I have also learned that. Where did I put that? Hang on a second, fellas. You never notice, can you never find it when you need it? It's gonna look crappy, but you'll notice on this one I got the exhaust set up here, and in between one I got tubes for spark plugs. So when you sand that flush, you end up with those are flush and these are flush, so you end up with a place to put, and the boots will actually fit in here, which is a good thing. But oh, been a rotten day, fellas. Alright, well, now there you go. Cut that out, smooth her out, make it look good. Not that anybody's going to see it, but still. Well, that's part one. Alright. Okay, I'm back. Now, once you get your block ready, both sides of course, get out your heads. Now here's what I'm talking about. The instructions aren't clear. To me, it looks like the instructions say put it like that. Well, that's upside down. Well, then you try it that way, and that still ain't right. Well, the way it goes is the intakes, for the intake manifold, goes like that. Alright, now okay, don't worry about hollowing these out. I just noticed that. Now, what I do with these, this is where my intake is going. So, you take and you try to keep the curve. See the little curve right there? Try to keep that. Now, I know a lot of you use solder. I've never been a big fan of that. Alright, now, once you get this the way you want it, this is usually where I slip and cut my finger. Alright. Now if you noticed on these, there's a lip right there. We'll do with that here in a second. Alright, now once you get that done, funny thing, I know there's somebody on here who's building the same thing I am, and I'm sure you'll come to the same conclusion that I did. They give you two motors, they give you 3 or 4 different kind of rear axles, or trunk lids, I guess you could call it. I just wish they had 2 chassis. Because I happen to have a project where I could use a chassis. But that's okay. Alright, now, when you get that the way you want it, I'm going to use an aluminum tube. I use that tubing, the 1/32 2.4 millimeter styrene tubing goes in. I'm not sure you can read that, but there you go. Right. This tubing has to fit inside this tubing. Just like that. Get your tube cutter. Gotta have a tube cutter. Run it there. It's a little extra. It's actually a lot of extra, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. You go ahead and you cut 4 of them. See how they snap off once you get them so far. And you place them in here. Okay. Okay. Mr. Mackey. You're going to have to flatten this on the inside just a tad bit. you get all 4 of them done, when you get all 4 of them in there, you super glue them in first off. Now this one is going up against that, which is fine, just fine, but you can't cut that out because you're going to end up covering it up anyway. You can eyeball the valve cover on here, so get rid of that nonsense. Probably should get a sharper blade right now, but I ain't going to. Okay, I'll clean it up here in a minute. You get 4 of them. Alright, once you get 4 of them, I'll cut this off right now. I'll get the 4 in there, get them super glued in, and then I'll show you what I do next. Okay, I'm back. Now, once you get your head done, what I would suggest you do is you put one here first, you put one here first, and then the center ones evenly spaced. That way you don't go bomb, 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 and you end up with crooked ones or whatnot. But once you get them in there, what you do is you super glue this one in, and you super glue this one in. You put a thin coat of super glue here. Got to be quick at this point because you know how it is. You got to set them the way you want them before the glue sets up. And you end up with something like this. And so you end up with something like this. Okay, now you get that, you get your sprue glue. And everybody knows what sprue glue is, so alright, now what you do, take these, you may want to do these in layers, in a layer, you know, a little at a time, build it up over a long period of time. Just put it in there, let it float where it needs to flow. Make sure you get down in between them too. That's what you do. You build this up. Of course, you end up with stringies all over the damn place. Alright, now once you get that built up, or you get a little in there, lay this off to the side for about an hour. Then you add some more sprue glue to it until you get it above it. That way, when you get it built up higher, you sand everything down. It's all flush, even looks better. But once you get it built up, you have to let it sit for at least a day. And when that day is over, we'll come back and I'll show you the next step. Alrighty. Thank you, sirs. Good morning. This is Chris with the Boneyard. Getting back to my head and headers. You know what I mean. Once you get it, as you know, once you get it all sanded down, make it smooth as you can. Of course, now you have to make them look good. More or less like they belong, and then you just do it normally, paint it whatever color you want to paint it. I mean, if you want the heads to be a different color like aluminum or silver or whatever, and do that before you do it. Paint everything normal, just like you normally would. I'm going to show you how I do my exhaust headers. Get you a piece of the styrene that fits inside the little hoo-ha sleeve. Now this step you have to actually do after you mount the motor on the frame, because you need to know how you're going to run it. Big paper clip. I know somebody thought, oh, well, he's going to use heat. No, I can't never get that right, so I had to improvise, as it were. It's your big paper clip, straighten her out. Usually I do this with my sleep. Put it on video, I can't even figure it out. Now I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the solder headers. You probably could use a solder on these heads the way I'm doing it, but I'm just not a big fan. I mean, if that's your cup of tea, you go right ahead, do your thing. Alright, when you get the purple clip in, you make sure this is right too, by the way. It's got to be hollow. Put that in. Then, once you got it in there, you pretty much bend it any way you want to, and it stays. Make gentle curves or sharp curves, whatever you want. That's all there is to it. The reason why you mount the motors, so as you bend on these, you know, you can put them up there like you know, okay, I want this to do this, 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 and this. You know, you make your own collector. It's just a piece of not 1/8 inch rod or tube, but the next size up. Slips over the cap, shape it, you know, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So there you go. There's one of my how-tos for this kit. And there you go. So, y'all have a good one.